Reading from The Impersonal Life, which is written in first person, God. And this chapter is Thinking and Creating. I have said that man does not think, that it is I within him who does his thinking. I have also said man thinks he thinks. As this is an apparent contradiction, I needs must show you that man ordinarily does not think any more than he does anything else he supposes he does. For I within him do all that he does, but I necessarily do it through his organism, through his personality, his body, mind, and soul. I will point out how this can be. First, try to realize that I made you in my image and likeness, and that I have my being within you. Even if you do not know this now, and believe that I, God, am somewhere without, and that we are separated, try for the time being to imagine I am within you. Next, realize that which you do, which you think is not real thinking, because it is not conscious thinking, for you are unconscious of me, the inspirer and director of every ideal and thought that enters your mind. Next, realize, because I am within you, and you are my image and likeness, and therefore possess all of my faculties, you have the power of thinking, but not being conscious that thinking is creating, and that it is one of my divine powers you are using. You have indeed all your life been thinking, but it has all been misthinking, or what you would call error thinking. And this error thinking, this not knowing it is my power you have been thus misusing, has been separating you in consciousness further and further from me, but all the time fulfilling my purpose, which later on will be made manifest to you. The proof of this is, you think you are separated from me, that you are living in a material world, that your body of flesh engenders and harbors pleasure and pain, and that an evil influence called the devil is manifesting in the world, opposing my will. Yes, you think all these things are so. They are, to you, for all things are to man's mortal consciousness what he thinks or believes they are. I have likewise caused them to appear to man to be what he thinks they are. This also to suit my purpose, and to fulfill the law of creating. Let us see if this is not true. If you believe a thing is so, is not that thing really so to you? Is it not true that a thing seems real to you, like some sin or evil, so-called, some sorrow, trouble, or worry, only because your thinking or believing it so makes it such? Others might see that thing entirely differently, and might think your view of it foolish, might they not? If this is true, then your body, your personality, your character, your environment, your world, are what they appear to be to you, because you have thought them into their present status. Therefore, you can change them by the same process. If they do not please you, you can make them whatever you will by thinking them so, can you not? But how can one do real thinking, conscious thinking, so as to bring about this change, you ask? First, know that I, your real self, purposely brought to your attention these things which now are displeasing, and which cause you to think them as being what they now seem to be to you. I and I alone am thus preparing your human mind, so that when you turn within to me, in abiding faith and trust, I can enable you to see and bring into outer manifestation the reality of these things which now seem so unsatisfactory. For I bring to you everything that, by its outer seeming, can attract or lure your human mind onward in its earthly search, in order to teach you of the illusoriness of all outer appearances of material things to the human mind, and of the fallibility of all human understanding, so that you will turn finally within to me and my wisdom, as the one and only interpreter and guide. When you have turned thus within to me, I will open your eyes and cause you to see that the only way you can ever bring about this change in thinking is by first changing your attitude toward all these things you now think are not what they ought to be. That is, if they are unsatisfactory or obnoxious to you, and affect you so as to cause you discomfort of body or disturbance of mind, why, stop thinking that they can so affect or disturb you. For who is the master? Your body, your mind, or you, the I am within? Then, why not show you are master? By thinking the true things the I am of you within wishes you to think. It is only by your thinking these other things, by allowing these inharmonious thoughts to enter your mind, and by so doing giving them the power so to affect or disturb you, that they have had any such influence over you. When you stop thinking into them this power, and turn within to me, and allow me to direct your thinking, they will at once disappear from your consciousness and dissolve into the nothingness from which you created them by your thinking. When you are willing to do this, then and then only are you ready to receive truth, and, by proper conscious thinking, directed by me, to create the true and permanent things I within wish you to create. Then, when you can thus distinguish the true from the false, the real from the seeming, your conscious thinking will be as potent to create all things you desire, as it has been your unconscious thinking in the past in creating those things you once desired but now find obnoxious. For it was by your unconscious thinking, or thinking unconscious of the control of your desires exercised over your creative power, that your world and your life are now what you sometimes in the past desired them to be. Have you ever studied and analyzed the process of the working of your mind when a new ideal, fertile with possibilities, appears? Have you noticed the relation that desire bears to such an ideal, and how through thinking that ideal is finally brought into actual fruition? Let us study this relation and process. There is always first the ideal, not considering at this moment the necessity or occasion for its appearance. It matters not whence the ideal come, from without or from within, for it is always I who inspire it, or cause it to impress your consciousness at the particular moment it does. Then, just to the extent that you grow quiet and focus your attention upon that ideal, stilling all the activities of your mind, and eliminating all other ideas and thoughts from your consciousness, so that ideal can have full sway, do I illumine your mind and cause you to unfold before your mental gaze the various phases and possibilities contained within that ideal. This takes place, however, up to this point without any volition on your part, other than focusing or concentrating your attention upon the ideal. Once I have given your mind, your human mind, a view of its possibilities, and have enlisted your interest, then does your human personality take up its task. For as I created and inspired the ideal in your mind, so did I cause that idea to fructify therein and give birth to desire. Desire to bring into outer manifestation all the possibilities of the ideal. Desire thus becoming the mortal agent of my will, and supplying the motive power, just as the human personality is the mortal instrument used to confine and focus that power. Yes, all ideas and all desires come thus from me. They are my ideas and my desires which I inspire in your mind and heart in order to bring them through you into outer manifestation. You have no ideas of your own, and could not possibly have a desire that came from other than me, for I am all there is. Therefore all desires are good, and when thus understood unfailingly come into speedy and complete fulfillment. You may wrongly interpret my desires, my urges from within, and seek to use them for your own selfish purpose, but even while permitting this, they still fulfill my purpose.